Love that. Let's head into the Zoom room now. We're going to first start because we know 9/11's tomorrow in the Guam Fire Department. Well, along with the Rotary Club. Chief, which Assistant Chief Darren Burrier here? Which Rotary Club, Chief?
It's the Northern Rotary Club.
Right on.
And the Rotary Club in Northern Guam, as far as my understanding is, they every year we do a salute, a solemn salute and memorial laying of the wreaths at the Two Lovers Leap 9/11 memorial that they had established. So at 8:15, we have similar units and other participants that are going to be gathering at the Dededo Fire Station, along with the Guam Hogs, from what I understand, are going to be also participating in the parade. And we're going to be parading from the Dededo Fire Station to Two Lovers Leap Memorial, where we will be waiting until 9/11, the time of 9/11. And that's when we'll be sounding sirens up there and doing a solemn salute in line of the wreaths for 9/11 memorial. All of our fire stations at the same time at 0846, the time the first plane hit the first tower, they will be positioning themselves in the front of each station, where they will sound a siren and do a solemn salute for that commemoration of the 9/11.
Jay, we're carrying this, right?
Yeah, so we are actually very honored to work with the Rotary Club of Northern Guam and the Guam Fire Department, several military officials, the Guam Police Department, for tomorrow's ceremony that's going to be carried live. We're going to carry it for you right here on Facebook starting at 8:30 in the morning. And Chief, we're very, very honored to be able to participate in this with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Before we get into the next part of this interview with Assistant Fire Chief Darren Burrier and Firefighter Angel Ilagas, we're going to go ahead and play this. Bree, is this like a YouTube video?
It's one of those, specially produced videos that Adeloop posts.
So this is one of Adeloop's greatest hits. It's... Sorry. So they do a lot of videos. We know they do the videos. This is one of the videos they did, and it's about this. And this was something that I want to say they kind of laid the groundwork for this during the Calvo Tenorio administration, and the governor kind of jumped on it in her administration. And it's a program to license paramedics locally. And so we're just going to go ahead and play this video, and then we'll tell you all about the situation that's thrown this entire program into jeopardy next.
If every fireman becomes, or EMT becomes a paramedic, that's going to be just a great advance in the care and treatment of our people out there in the community.
School of EMS is the accredited paramedic program, and we're partnering with GCC to use the facilities and the equipment to do the hands-on training.
When I became governor, that was the first thing that I said to Dan, even when I interviewed him. What are your plans for bringing paramedics to our island? And now here we are, halfway through. And it is a nationally accredited EMS program. When we graduate our people here, they are going to be at the same level as any other paramedics in the United States.
Spoiler alert, guys. It didn't really work out so well. As we have, again, Assistant Fire Chief Darren Burrier and Firefighter Angel Ilagas. So this program was put into place, and let me just kind of run through this timeline of this, Chief, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, so that way we can just jump into where we're at right now. But this program was basically stood up with an off-island, basically
School of EMS.
Right, School of EMS, and it's part online and then part in person, where these instructors come out and they do, the clinicals and all the other stuff that you need to do in person to become a paramedic, obviously, because you don't want to, do a full online with the paramedics. And this School of EMS They're nationwide, right? And they're accredited by this body that certifies paramedics nationally. And so this Guam program is an extension of the School of EMS, but the Guam program, and only the Guam program's accreditation, basically has been stripped. So what we have happening right now is we had dozens of firefighters sign up for this to become paramedics. And now, as we near the completion of this program, with the accreditation being pulled, they're not going to be nationally certified paramedics anymore, which is just crazy, Chief. First of all, because I know how hard the guys worked on this program, and I mean, and we're talking about working through COVID as well, right? So I'm pretty sure this was just kind of a shock for you guys. And if you could maybe just go into a little bit of the details as to why the accreditation was pulled and what we're going to do moving forward.
Just kind of like making a clear understanding is the national certification. There really isn't any national certification that allows paramedics to be able to practice anywhere in the nation. The idea of national was the organization, a private organization called the National Registry of EMTs, that provides a test that basically evaluates the results of the course as far as the student. The student goes through an accredited program that follows the paramedic national educational standards that are set forth by Department of Transportation. And that's what the School of EMS does. They provide that training in accordance to that program, and they are a fully accredited institute that follows the requirements and the guidelines of the accreditation body, which is called KHEP, which is a accreditation body for allied health professionals. Right. In that sense, then what it is, when they finish that course, they would be in a KHEP. NRMT has that agreement with KHEP to allow paramedics that complete that course to be able to sit for a National Registry of EMT exam, which is basically a nationally formatted test that measures their cognitive and practical skills and says that they meet that minimum requirement and be able to actually practice. Then with that, they can go and apply at the local state office of EMS for licensure to practice within that state. The only way of able to recognize their license to be recognized in other states would be to be involved with the EMS Compact. It's the interstate for licensure for EMS professionals. And so as an office of EMS, the EMS administrator would be involved with that group and be able to develop relationships with other states to have that compact of licensure and have them be able to have that portability going from one state to another without having to worry about not being accepted. So going back to how this course started, School of EMS is an accredited institute. They teach throughout the nation, and also they're having a course currently in England that is KHEP recognized. This course started out as a KHEP accredited and approved course as a alternate site for School of EMS. Then basically fasting forward from May of 2020 at the start of the course to February of this year, KHEP then made a reversal of their accreditation for this particular site.
Right.
Reasons being are kind of muddled in our view, but School of EMS is going and doing a legal challenge on that, and they do believe they'll win because in accordance to everything that they've shown us, they followed all the rules and all the guidelines that were set forth by KHEP. And so whatever inner politics that they have going on in order to solve this problem, that's for them to deal with. Right. But the education is going on and following the same accreditation format and guidelines.
Yeah. It is a little confusing, right, Chief? Because the KHEP this is the accrediting body, because they pulled the accreditation of the Guam program. Now all the firefighters who are in it aren't going to get that national recognition from that body, that private entity that certifies paramedics nationally, right? And I guess we'll just go right over to Angel. So I know when you signed up for this program, that was probably one of the main things that you were anticipating, was that when you completed this program, because it was fully accredited, that you were going to graduate as a nationally certified and recognized paramedic and get that badass gold patch that comes with it, right?
That is correct. I'm not the only one. There's actually 23 other individuals are expecting to have that badge of honor.
Right. And so I'm pretty sure you were shocked when you found out that the situation changed.
Yes, we found about it just about the second live week when they came out and they started explaining to us what was going on. So after they heard about it, the students started getting bummed out and were kind of upset and depressed at the same time, but mainly upset.
Right. And so Chief, when this information came out, were there more firefighters in the program? And when the announcement was made that, hey, guys, we're not going to get that national certification that you signed up for, did a lot of people just say, okay, I quit, I don't want to do this anymore?
I don't think anybody really quit because of that direct issue. They dropped out because of personal constraints that prevented them from being able to give all the attention they needed. Because when we had people that were getting deployed militarily, people that had some personal issues, family issues that they had to take care of. Yeah. It is a challenging course. It's not an easy course. The amount of time it takes on top of the COVID responses and how much they're working, they have to be commended for what they're doing. Yeah. But even without that gold patch, the education they're receiving is invaluable. Their ability to make proper assessments have already improved. Their ability to recognize more in detail and understanding of what's going on with the patient is already there. The end game and what everybody's striving for is that we still get them licensed locally as paramedics, and having them test, because when they finish the course, the idea is to have them test with NREMT, who has agreed to allow that. And then that way they would get a pass or fail and become licensed locally as a paramedic. With that option, once the School of EMS and they win their fight against KHEP and get it recognized, then we can have that option availability to where NRMT can recognize these guys, and then when they do the recertification as a paramedic, they can then be able to get their reciprocity as a national registry certified EMT.
But that's if School of EMS wins the whatever court case or challenge with KHEP, right?
That is true. School of EMS is pretty confident they'll win it. It just takes time, and we are, hoping that they will win it, because for the benefit of our guys, that the gold patch is, not every state follows national registry for their paramedics, but it is something to have on your shoulder, that gold patch to be recognized. It's a status symbol amongst paramedics that you've achieved something, because not everybody gets it. I mean, other states, they don't even pursue the national registry because their own state has levels of paramedic that are higher than what national registry is doing it. So they get their education and then get licensed within the state.
You mentioned the licensure. This is done by what, the Guam EMS Commission?
Yes, the Office of EMS, the EMS Administrator, and the EMS Commission, they all oversee the licensing rules and regulations for the EMS professionals.
Is there
EMT, advanced EMT, and paramedic?
Right. So there is already, I guess they're able to do this licensure at Guam EMS. There's rules, regulations, all of that.
For the paramedic level?
Yeah. Well, for the paramedic level, it's a little muddled. We thought that the law was properly in place, and the law was redone back in 2011. But we now, under the guidance of the Attorney General's office, we see that there is some legal issues that we need to detail a little bit better as far as how the education is being carried out, and then how the licensure will be handled. It's basically, it's a little too vague in the law. We thought it was proper, but now we're making it a little bit more detailed to where it will leave no question as far as how a paramedic becomes a paramedic on Guam, and then how the EMS Commission and the EMS Administrator can license that paramedic on Guam. Because EMT and advanced EMT is a little easier to get to because the skills are not as advanced as the paramedic, and the paramedic is actually the first level of allied health professional in the EMS level. So they want to make sure that all the legal details are there, protecting everybody that's in place.
Okay, let
So
me.
it sounds like you got two problems. Licensure locally, yeah, that you can't really do that right now because you need to clean up the law. And then you have the accreditation issue, but our EMT is like, okay, you can go ahead and take our test, but sorry, we don't really have the ability to do the licensure because we got
Which is
problems
a
with
pretty
our local
big.
law.
It's a pretty big sorry. Cause
So you're not even getting a patch. What are you getting? You're just going through these guys. Angel, you're going through this class and what?
So pretty much like, go Chief.
I was just saying that the patch is a benefit. The end result of this course is to get licensed paramedics on Guam.
But we can't get any
NRET
licensed paramedics on Guam because,
the law.
yeah.
Well, that's what we're working on now. We have a little subgroup that we're working on, and then working to change the statute and working with the commission in order to be able to accommodate and clear the path legally for all this to happen. And we have a lot of players in place that are getting this. The education is continuing on. We're moving towards the clinical rotations at the hospital. And then after that, it would be the next phase, which would be the ride-alongs on our units for them to do skills. And then from there, we should be really getting set to where we have that path for them to get licensed on Guam, because the course is coming to an end. The course is still a national level course.
Yeah.
It's being instructed at an accredited level from an accredited organization. The end result of the course is to have that level of education, be able to be licensed paramedics on Guam. Yeah. The NRET is just a body that says you passed our test.
I get it. I get it, Chief. But the whole point of the program, according to the video, was that at the end of the day, they're going to be nationally certified and recognized. So let me ask you, Angel, because this kind of reminds me, I was trying to search for an analogy, but it reminds me of, like, we're all going to, let's say, for example, high school, and we're all studying hard, and we know that at the end of this, I'm going to get my high school diploma, and but then something happens and they say, oh, instead of a high school diploma, we're just going to give you a piece of paper,
A certificate of
like
completion?
a GED or something. Yeah. A certificate of completion. So Angel, I mean, how's that make you feel? You jump through all these hoops. You responded to COVID out here. You know what I mean? During this pandemic, you worked hard. You're in this program. You're not getting paid for it. At the end of the day, it was to become a nationally certified and licensed paramedic. Now you're going to go take this test that every other person who wants to become a nationally or licensed paramedic takes, but after you take it, if you pass, you're not going to get that certification. That's just sounds like a bum deal.
Yes, it is. That does sound like a bum deal. And like, along with myself, the 23 other individuals are pretty upset about it. But this the most we can do is actually just drive on and finish the course. However, like you were mentioning, we don't get the NRT certification, but like Chief Boy was mentioning, NRT is a private organization that offers the chance to take a test and get nationally recognized, saying that we're trained up to this level. Yeah. And that training is based on Department of Transportation, National Highway Safety Administration, National Education EMS standards and stuff like that. So that's what we're learning. It is pretty depressing and disappointing that we're not going to get the badge of honor, but I mean, a lot of us are really upset about it, but we just got to finish the course for right now.
Chief, is there a timeline on this? So basically what we need to do to kind of salvage this is that, first of all, unless the School of EMS successfully wins their challenge against the accrediting body, we don't know if they're going to be grandfathered in at a later date, right? So what we need to do is they go take this test. If they pass, we put them before the EMS board here on Guam. But you need to do that legislative fix, right? So what are we looking at? Are we thinking like 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah, we're looking at the proper pathways that we need to do, and we have a committee that is working on that law specifically. We're meeting every week. We're processing and comparing and looking at other laws in the state. So we're hoping to get something solid to bring to the commission for the next meeting that we have at towards the end of this month. And then that way, if we can, and the commission has pretty broad powers as far as being able to implement and provide allowances for certain actions. So we're waiting, and as we get this together, talking to the attorney from the AG's office that guides us and how we can move forward. If the commission can give permissions for certain things now, knowing that the statute is in the process, we're also working in conjunction with the governor's office, who's ready and standing by for this rewrites in order to facilitate the movement of this as fast as we can. So we're hoping to get everything done within the next few months, if not in the next couple of months, to get this thing. It's just that it's hard to put a timeline on it,
Right.
but we are expediting it as fast as possible.
I wanted to know, can you kind of clarify the reversal of the accreditation, the KHEP, and you said the reasons were muddled. Can you kind of tell us what exactly were the reasons?
The exact reasons, I mean, it revolved around, my understanding is with KHEP, and they had halfway through the course, as I said, they turned around and they changed their bylaws on how they do this stuff. And based on their change, they said that, oh, we no longer will recognize this alternate site, but they had already approved this alternate site originally, and it shouldn't have been a retroactive pull of this site. Well, our understanding is that's where their school EMS's legal action is moving towards, is that they have all this, plus they had the new guidelines that they had posted on their website. And with all that information, they have a very strong case to say that, you know, it is an unfair designation of this course that they had already approved. So having that all in the law, having that and their legal fight is where we're at. And it's just kind of not understanding why they did this change midstream. And I can't even speak to that because I don't know all the details with that part.
Can you just clarify, did you say there was no national certification for paramedics?
No, the National Registry the only recognition that National Registry is providing is that this paramedic, you know, just like we have our EMTs are nationally registered, the AEMTs are nationally registered. That designation says that these guys, the people who have that patch, passed a national standardized test and met the national EMS educational standards for that level. Now, there's some states that recognize that test.
44, right?
Well, there's quite a few states. There's like 16 states that do not recognize National Registry, and they have their own way of getting licensure and testing. And if you have the education, like in this case, the individuals getting paramedic, they would have to go to any other state, even with the National Registry. They go to any state, they can apply as a paramedic, but when they apply for licensure to operate within that state would then take a look at their transcripts, see how they were trained, and then give them the option of possibly sitting for a state exam in order to give them that license or whatever exam that they have. But because of the fact that School EMS is providing in its the credential type of course, the curriculum and the transcripts could be recognized, and so they wouldn't have to go through a whole course. It's just that in some states that recognize National Registry certification as their licensure, they could go in there and then whatever conditions else they get that license locally, it might make it easier. The only body that would have the ability to, where the agreement between state to state to allow that transfer of licensure would be the EMS Compact Commission.
Man,
and
Chief,
that group.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking because it says here National Registered Paramedics, and I wasn't sure.
I mean, it's a
Yeah,
tough
yeah,
position to
there's
be in because,
there's a national registry.
yeah, I mean, that was the whole
It's
point of
okay.
it, right?
Yeah,
Of
so
the program.
it's a registry of paramedics because it's a registry of individuals who took their test and then they follow within that organization, every 2 years when they recertify, they track all the CEUs, and that's what we do with our guys. Offer continuing education programs, the hours that they need to meet to be able to recertify, and that actually provides the information in the for the license agency that recognizes that they to accept their trainings and that they met the requirements to get relicensed in the state.
Well, Angel, let me
So
ask you. Sorry, Chief. Before we let you go, though, is it good enough for you and the 20-some firefighters who were left? Because I know that kind of the whole point, and I get what you're saying, Chief, that they're still going to receive the equivalent of, a national standard. But, I mean, Angel, I'm sure the whole point for you and a lot of the guys that signed up for this was to get on that registry, right? So at the end of the day, local licensure without the national recognition, is it going to be worth it for you guys?
Well, the majority of them, they don't think it's worth it because they want to have that national registry status. I mean, that's the end goal and everything else. But I would dare say 98% of them will want that national registry pat and stuff like that, and certification as well. So that was the whole premise to this whole thing about taking this program.
Because that gives you that portability, right? To go from another, like go to California or whatever, and be recognized as a paramedic.
Yes, but Chief Bird was mentioning, that's the thing they call reciprocity, that you would have to actually still meet the requirements based over in what state you're going to go to. Yeah. So if you go there, you still have to apply for it, and they look at your application and check all your education and stuff like that. And once they do that, they'll allow you to take their state tests or local tests, and if you pass that, then you can actually practice in that state.
Right.
Yeah, that's with or without the NREMT certification. They still are going to require that.
Well, but will the law? You guys are working on it. The law currently doesn't require this NREMT certification for paramedics, right? Is that something you guys are looking to do? Because aren't our EMTs currently, aren't they supposed to have by law this NREMT certification?
That by law, the way we're set up is with EMS office is that they're using the NREMT as their testing facility, basically their testing site. So if in order to be licensed locally, if you pass the NREMT EMT exam or the NREMT advanced EMT exam, and you then can apply with that credentialing and for licensure to practice on Guam. And that's how we operate right now. So that's where the paramedic level has to have the adjustment, because the national registry credentialing won't be available for this one. So we have to have an avenue for the credentialing of these students after the course is completed, for them to be able to take a test that will give them the credentialing to be recognized and accepted as a licensure for Guam.
So just so I'm clear, to be an EMT currently, you have to have that NREMT. You have to pass this NREMT test, right?
Right. So that's the credentialing, the saying that you've met the minimum requirements. So now, you took a course that was authorized. You met the minimum requirements because it's credentialed through that standardized national test that NRMT provide. And then
so what we're going to ask the legislature to do is to remove this NREMT requirement for paramedics because of all the problems going on with the program?
Yeah, we'll see. Not just that. It's about recognizing how the education of the paramedic will be done. We don't want to just say no more NRMT. We want to clarify that the training will follow in accordance to whatever KHEP has as a requirement and guidelines, standards and guidelines for the curriculum of a program. So we could actually have like GCC or UOG, whoever's going to put on the program, can actually, as long as they follow all those same guidelines, they do the education in accordance to an accredited institute, then all we have to do is then develop or have an alternate site that does a standardized test. That would be allow us to have a moving forward position in order to do that, to have that happen. So the whole idea here is, because of the dilemma, NRMT basically, as a private entity, got together with KHED. Okay, we won't let anybody take our paramedic test unless they take a course that you recognize at a college. And for a lot of states, that became a lot more restrictive. Just like here, it's becoming restrictive because it's not any the accreditation from this body. Even though GC is KHEP accredited for nursing, they don't have the KHEP accreditation for paramedic as of yet. So the whole issue would be to allow that training to happen at that level and to be recognized. We just have to have that nationally standardized testing in order to be credentialed.
Thank you, Chief. Sounds like there's going to be some developments that we need to follow with this whole issue. Angel, thank you. I'm
Good
sorry.
luck, Angel.
Sorry, man. Sounds like
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
right on.
Well, I just like to part with the end thing is, yes, I would love to have all these guys get the National Registry Paramedic patch. I mean, I would have loved to have gotten that in my time. I was in the first group of EMTs that got the advanced training and that started the ALS units. And we cannot continue going on with the ALS as the way it is, because they're advanced EMTs, but we do extra skills and duties beyond the advanced EMT. So in order to sustain it and continue it, we need to develop our paramedic to be able to the proper terminology, the proper title, and everything that they need to have. It's just that where we are right now, we need to bring it up to where it needs to be in order to continue it and give that care to the people. So even though the guys are bummed that they're not going to get the paramedic patch at the end of this course, they've got a course that tuition for this course. I mean, it's a free course. We have it 100% covered for them. At the end of it, they're going to have the skills and knowledge to be able to give better care to the people of Guam.
Thank you, Chief.
And that's the best takeaway.
Thank you, Angel.
Thank you.
Good close there. It's 8 o'clock, guys. Let's jump on over to KUAM TV right now. Good morning, Guam. Right on 803 KUAM TV. Buenas, business, woohoo, Friday. I'm Chris.
I'm Jason. Good morning, everybody.